Thanks for joining us tonight as part of our Grey Cup Unite celebration this week. We've got our youth football meetup presented by First Ontario Credit Union. So we've taken some youth football players from all over Hamilton and maybe a little further as well. And we're going to talk to some two current Hamilton Ticats, two current greats at what they do. Mike Filer and Simone Lawrence are here with us tonight, this evening. Gentlemen, thanks so much for giving your time. Simone, Mike, it's great to see you. Hope you're staying well. Hope you're staying safe and healthy.
Thanks. Same to you. Same to you.
I'm just happy to see Simone right now.
I was just tweeting it out a little bit earlier this week that it's been a year since you guys have been on the field, of course, at the Grey Cup, but been on the field at Tim Hortons Field. Came a year ago this week. What was that like? What do you remember about that game, Mike? Obviously, a special time. You played some big games with the Ticats. What do you remember about that game, Filer?
You know what? It's hard to believe it's been a year, but what I remember most is just how tight that locker room was. And going out there on game day, we knew we had, we had something special in that locker room, and the guys we had going on that field. It was just a special time for us. And like I said, it's crazy to believe that was a year ago.
And Simone, you played on a lot of great Ticats teams as well over the years that you've been here. When you think back about that one, obviously last year was such a great season for you, the East Defensive Player of the Year. But what do you remember about last season and about just kind of Grey Cup week in general?
I just remember just everybody just staying on the same page. You know, I feel like we were getting better together as the season went on, together as a group, and we took pride on everybody just always staying together and sticking together and everybody being on the same page. And I just remember just like having fun at practice, and everything was just fun, like it didn't even feel like it didn't feel like a job at all. It was just a fun season.
And of course, we can't wait till you guys are back out there on the field. The caretaker making his announcement earlier this week. We're going to do everything we can to be back on the field in 2021 and have the Grey Cup like as planned here in Hamilton next season. Like we said, we've gathered some youth football players from all over Hamilton, giving them opportunity to ask some questions to some pros. And we'll start with kind of a simple one. We'll start with you, Mike. What was your first memory on the football field?
That's a tough one. That's going back to, probably was 10 years old. I just remember, not being able to keep up with the kids in hockey and going to try out football. And I was handed the football and told it to snap it between my legs. And, 20 years later, here I am.
Yeah, Simone, do you remember the first time you maybe it was like a first big hit that you had? I know for you, you always love throwing hits. Do you remember your first memory on a football field?
Yeah, my first memory was actually, oh man, I was playing for 69th Street Wildcats, and and the kids were a lot bigger than I was because I was playing a weight limit over. And I got a little nervous, so I went over to my dad and started acting like I didn't want to play. And then my dad was like, "I already bought you all these pads. You better get out there." And then I took off. It was all good.
The rest is history, as they say, from that one. Great first memory. Okay, let's get a question here. This one's from Kay. She plays at the Hamilton Flag FC for the Broncos. She's got a question for Mike here. When you were playing at BCI, who were some of the athletes you aspired to be and why?
That's a good question. Actually, our school, we had a guy named Nick Kazher that was a few years older than me, but he played. He was a left tackle or right tackle in high school. I can't remember which side he played on, but he ended up going and playing for New England for many years and went on to that dynasty team. He's got a bunch of Super Bowl rings, and I remember just hearing the stories about him and how aggressive he was, and how great of an offensive lineman he was. I just remember trying to live up to that in high school, and our high school in Brantford was known to have some pretty good athletes. We had some good rugby players, Aaron Carpenter. So we produced some really good hockey, or not hockey, but just athletes in general out of our school. So just trying to keep up with them and find my way.
And of course, Simone, you must have had some players that you looked up to when you were in high school. Who are some that you remember maybe you tried to model your game after when you were just first coming up in football?
Honestly, all right. So nobody really.
You've always been your own player. You've always been your own player, haven't you?
Yeah. So there was this one kid. There's a funny story. All right. So there was this kid. His name was I'll just leave his name off this because I don't, but whatever. He had number 21, right? And they wouldn't let me get number 21 because they're like, oh, this player's been like the best player that's ever played here, and it's gonna be like you're gonna be taking on a lot of like, if you take this number 21. So I was like, man, give me number 21. So like the whole time I had number 21, I was just like in my head, I was like, all right, I'm gonna make sure that there's only 121 that they ever remember. So that was my
that is a true Simone Lawrence answer on that one. Mike, another question here from Kay. She says, in what ways are you able to give back to football while you're still playing for the Ticats?
I think that's been like the best part about growing up in Brantford and playing for Hamilton is I'm here all year long and being able to be in the community and be involved and spend the entire year here. It just allows me to get to know the community and get to know kids and go out to, try and inspire them. Like there's a bunch of people that inspired me as a kid. So that's probably the best part about being a Ticat. And besides playing with guys like Simone and Speedy and Mazzoli and all those guys. And it's an awesome part is being able to be in your community.
Yeah, Simone, I know you, like you say, you've been here in Hamilton a long time, and every time I see you out in the community, first of all, you're always surrounded by your fans, but second of all, you're always having a great time, and it just seems like every time you're able to give back to the sport here or to give back to athletes here in Hamilton or just the city, it's something that you really take seriously as your role here on the Ticats.
100%, we're role models in Hamilton, and we understand the role that we play. And we understand that we can reach the youth and being able to talk to the youth and help them, guide them through their journey as professional athletes. I think that's very important, especially being at an elite level so you can tell them what to do and what not to do, especially coming from, players like Mike Filer, Jeremiah Masoli, freaking Brandon Banks, it's just like, it's not just a straight path, it's a bunch of rocky mountains and stuff like that you have to navigate yourself through because adversity hits every single time, especially when you're an elite athlete like us. So, it's fun to help them navigate through their little problems that they're having going through youth football.
Well said. And just one more here from Kay. She's got a lot of great questions here submitted. She says, will there ever be room in professional sports for a girls flag football league? What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, I think so. Why not? Right? Let's break the boundaries. Make it happen. I love going out to teams and seeing females a part of them and playing and I don't know why there wouldn't be an opportunity.
Exactly. We got some great questions. Of course, this is the youth football meetup presented by First Ontario Credit Union. We did have people submit questions ahead of time, but also if you'd like to join in the conversation, you can use the little chat feature that is part of this Zoom call here. So you can just hit that chat button and ask your question. But like I said, we do have some pre-submitted here for our athletes. And we'll go to you, Sim, for the next one. The question comes from Cameron. He plays for the Youth Spartans football. How did you become so successful at the game of football? That's his question for you.
Spartan football, what's up? The way I became successful was just consistency, like just work. I follow the same schedule, I just grind all the time. It's just about being consistent in what you do. Find something that works for you. One thing I learned is that you have to find out what works for your body. Like there's a bunch of different stuff people are going to navigate and have you try to do, but find out what works best for you. Find trainers, find the strength coaches, find conditioning coaches, and just let them exhaust your body. The thing that the transition from off season to in season is you want to maximize yourself during the off season. So when you're in season, it just feels like, it's just like practice, so everything flows easy.
And Mike, I think there's the great word that Simone threw there at the end. It's training, it's getting stronger. But that's great advice for youth football players at all ages. But for maybe younger, like practice, because a lot of times, guys, you guys are going to want to play in the games. The kids playing at home are going to want to play in the games. But like Simone was saying, it's the practice that's so important. That maybe it's not the most fun, but it's such an important part for you for getting where you are today.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely the most important part. Practice is fundamentals, right? And I think that's with, especially in youth football, that's the number one thing that when we go back into the community and we try and help out coach and whatnot, is we teach as fundamentals, because the things that these kids are doing and we're teaching them are still the same things that us pros are doing. You can't overcomplicate things. You got to break it down and you got to go back to the fundamentals. And I think that's where you see the big difference is you find kids that will just focus on the fundamentals and getting, great at what their craft is, and you see kids that kind of struggle and they don't spend as much time on the easy, or what we call the easy stuff, right? But the fundamentals are what going to carry you the longest way.
And to that point, I mean, anybody can be good in a game. On any given day, you could have a great game, but to be consistently good in practice, Simone, I feel like that's a skill that you need to know, because that's when coaches are looking at you the most, right?
Of course, that's when the eyes are on you. That's when you're able to show your peers that you belong to. That's one of those things where it's like, wow, Mike Filer comes to practice every day and he's going to work every day. No wonder he's playing great in the game. It's just something that's a trickle down effect. Usually if you miss practice, you have off games, but it's all about the consistency and how you show up for practice every day and bringing your own energy.
Let's stick with you, Simone, on this next question. Again, from Cameron, he wants to know, what is it like playing in front of tens of thousands of people, especially in Hamilton at Tim Hortons Field?
It's an unreal feeling, the adrenaline just hits you, something when you, my favorite is like when we all put our helmets up in the air and then, all the fans start cheering and going crazy. And then we all huddle up and then we just do our little thing in the middle. And then the national anthem always gets me too. It's just one of those, it's an unreal feel, and it's adrenaline. It's an adrenaline rush. So however he's playing at the level he's playing out now, his game will elevate times 10. So when you get to the big leagues, bud, you're going to be big league.
Yeah, Mike, what's that roar of the tunnel? I mean, you got Neighbor's voice coming on loud and clear. It's a nice fall day in Hamilton. And now you got these tens of thousands of fans just going nuts. What's that feeling like?
My favorite part's when Simone gets us riled up before the game and we start going crazy. It gets my juices flowing. But yeah, I mean, playing in front of 20,000 people, 30,000 people, you can't beat it. I remember my first time ever running out for Calgary when I was first drafted there and played a preseason game. I'd never played in front of that many people and just running out with fireworks and all that stuff with 80 other guys. It was insane. And, Hamilton is just, it's unreal. You just get chills running out. You're walking through the tunnel. We got our song going. You got the guys leading you out. You're running through the caretaker's lounge. Like, you can't beat it.
Yeah, I know just being on the sidelines, being in the crowd, I couldn't imagine actually being out there on the field, what you guys do. It's absolutely incredible. Again, you can submit your question using the chat button here. This is the Youth Football Meetup presented by First Ontario Credit Union. Again, very pleased to be joined by Mike Filer and Simone Lawrence here. Our next question comes from Oakley in Niagara. He wants to play for the Ticats one day. And he wants to know, what is the best piece of advice you got from a coach when you were playing? Mike, we'll start with you.
That's a tough one. I mean, I've had so many great coaches that have steered me in the direction I've, to lead me where I am today. And you know what? I think you're going to come across people that are going to help you, and you're going to come across people that may not be on your side. And you got to be able to decipher and not listen and kind of block the noise out and just have a dream and go after it. And, I have had some coaches that have just taken the time, spend the time to help me out. I'm not going to lie. When I came for the Ticats, I didn't understand the playbook to 100%. It took me a year to figure it out and get to it. But I had coaches that were willing to spend the time and learn. And if you want to learn as a student or as a, an athlete, coaches, they want to teach you, they want to coach you. That's their job. So listen, be a sponge and soak it all up.
And Simone, like Mike was saying there, you want to learn, you got to listen to a coach. And a lot of the coaches, when I talk about when I play sports growing up, but a lot of the coaches I had not just told me a lot about, in sports, they also are some of the ones who teach you a lot about in life.
For sure. I think that we have great coaches because that's who we spend most of our time around, as athletes. We're around our coaches and our peers, and, if they can't help you navigate through life, then shoot, who will? So, you learn a lot by playing football, just being in that team environment.
Well said. We got a question here on the Zoom group chat. Julia's got a question. Says, thanks for, she wants to thank herself for being here. Thank you for being here, Julia, is what we want to say. Says, you guys are awesome. What is your favorite movie about sports? Mike, what is your favorite movie about sports?
That's a tough one. I'm not really a big movie buff. I'm not good with movies. My favorite movie about sports, I don't know. I don't even know. I don't even have one that comes to the top of my head, to be honest with you.
Sim, anything come to mind when you think about your favorite sports? I mean, for me, Remember the Titans is a classic. I mean,
Remember the Titans is definitely a classic because, it shows you how football brings everybody together, and like football has always been like that. But for me, it has to be Any Given Sunday.
Also a great movie. All right, somebody. Next question's for you. Comes from George. Did you play any other sports growing up, and how did that help you as a football player?
Yeah, I actually did. I ran track my senior year. It helped me as a football player, not really. It was just being around that team atmosphere and just challenging myself to do something different, in my high school, you could only get player of the year if you played 2 sports. So we decided to run track. And I did the high jump actually. So that was fun with one of my buddies named Dom.
Nice. I have to imagine the extra gym time kind of helped you though, right? I mean, you're spending extra time, or did you go to track because, like you said, you wanted that 2 athlete of the year award?
I just went to track for the 2 athlete award.
We appreciate the honesty as always there, Sim. Mike, did you play any other sports growing up?
I grew up playing hockey. My dad was always my hockey coach. My brother played hockey. But I just got too big for the skates. I couldn't keep up with the kids anymore, and I wanted to find something else. And I got into football and started playing that real young. And, that's it's probably the best decision I ever made. But, yeah, hockey. I played hockey, and then I also played rugby in high school. I love rugby. Great sport.
I can see that for sure. A couple more questions here. And again, thanks to everybody for joining us on our youth football chat. Thank you to Mike Fowler. Thank you so much, Lawrence. Again, like I said, you got a question, use the chat function here on Zoom, or you can, just let us know that way. Here we go. We got a question. How important was the role that your parents or other family members played in helping you make it to the CFL? Sim, we'll start with you on that one.
To CFL, a lot of people took place. I remember getting the call. Actually, I was in freaking like North Dakota, just hanging out, training and everything, and they were like, "Hey, we want you to come and play out in Edmonton," And I was just like, "What is Edmonton?" I didn't have any idea of it, everything. And the way they got me, they was like, "Hey, we got a reality TV show ready for you and everything when you get out here." And we're gonna boost it up, and everything's gonna be amazing. It's just like the States, and so I took the trip out there, and it was nothing like Hamilton, but it was what it was.
Mike, how important were your parents getting to the CFL, getting you to where you are today?
Huge. I mean, I always say it. I always tell them I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for my parents. They sacrificed a lot to get me here and put me through. Many hours of training and drove me to places when I, didn't have my license. So my parents are my biggest fans. They always will be and always have been. And I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for them.
Awesome. Great answers there. We got a question. This is from Kylie. She said she met you in hospital. She wants you guys to come to her December 10th birthday. Says her dad will fire up the smoker, cook some ribs, cook some chicken. Says they met Mike in Bimbrook. Apparently he likes the ribs. Is that Mike? I can see you liking the ribs. She wants to know what your favorite cartoon is and what's your favorite color. It's a question from Kylie there. So favorite cartoon and favorite color.
My favorite color is obviously black and gold. I can't go wrong with that. My favorite cartoon. There was a show when I was a kid I used to watch was Hey Arnold, and I love that show.
He had a football.
Moving football head.
Now we know why you became a football player, because of Hey Arnold and his football-shaped head. Sim, you got a favorite cartoon growing up, and of course, favorite color?
My favorite color is, man, probably red. I like red. And my favorite cartoon was Captain Planet.
Nice. Great answer.
Captain Planet, he's our hero, gonna take us down to zero.
Are you done? You want to keep going? I'll let you keep going, man.
Nah.
I love hearing you sing. I love hearing you sing, Sam. It's been a while. So I love hearing both of you guys sing. I think this is the longest I've gone, about 5 years without.
Actually, Mike Filer is a professional. What's that thing? Yeah, like I remember you, Tasker, that one night you guys had a little performance. That was one of the funnest nights we had, huh?
That was a couple days, I think, before Labor Day when we opened up the stadium. We had we had a team bonding night. It was great.
I do remember that. That was a great night. I remember.
Yeah. Every time a guitar is around, Mike Filer seems to find it. That's 101. That's Tim Hortons Field 101 there. All right, let's finish up here. Julia's got a couple of great questions that I want to make sure I get in here. The first one, what is your favorite part about the Tiger Cats fans, and what's so special about us? That being Tiger Cats fans. Sim, what's so special about Tiger fans? Why do you love playing in front of them?
Because they're loyal. I love the Tiger Cat fans because they're loyal, and they're a team and they're a group of fans that have the players back no matter what. I just know just from experience, sometimes just being out in Hamilton, they're just like, Simone, are you okay? Is everything okay? And they'll like carry me home or something. Like, it's just great. Or they'll grab food for me when I'm in the stores and stuff, and they don't let me pay for anything. And they're just amazing people, and they're hardworking. And it's just like, it's the kind of town I come from.
Mike, like you said, you grew up in Brantford. You know Hamilton well. You've played here for so long. You've gotten to know these fans. What makes them special?
I think Simone hit it. I mean, loyal. Like, these fans have been with us through the thick and thin. They've never let us down. They come game in and game out, pouring rain, cold. It doesn't matter. They're always there. They're there to support us, and they're the reason. It's so difficult for teams to come into Tim Hortons Field and play, right? It's a hostile environment, and that's a credit to our fans.
Well said. A couple more here. Do you guys have a favorite sports quote? Is there a quote that you have a favorite of that maybe sticks with you? Sam, any favorite quote that sticks with you?
He's going to get one.
I think so. While he goes to get one, Mike, is there anything? I mean, just win, baby. That one's a classic. But any special sports quote that?
All right. I think it was let me tell you what winning is. You're willing to go harder, longer than anybody else. And I think that I didn't quote it word for word, but that's from Vince Lombardi. That's just a Vince Lombardi quote.
Did you have to run to look it up? I wonder where you went there.
Oh, my dog, she's just, come here, baby.
Oh, you're the best, Sim. Let's move on. We got a couple more here. Then we'll let you guys go. Thank you guys all who have been joining this call. How did you? This is a good one because it's been a year. Obviously, you wanted to be back on the field this season to kind of make some revenge, but it's been a year now. So how did you deal with the 2019 Grey Cup loss? Obviously, a tough question, but we want to be back there next year. We'll start with you, Mike. How'd you deal with it, and what are you feeling about that game?
I mean, I still think I think back to it all the time, and I don't know that I've ever really gotten over it. It's a tough pill to swallow. I mean, I've been to 3 of them with Hamilton, and you know, we haven't been able to come home with one. So yeah, I mean, honestly, it's what makes winning so much better is losing. I know it's you know, obviously nobody enjoys losing, but it makes winning feel so much better, right? Like, so I know that we got an unbelievable locker room, we got an unbelievable coaching staff, and I'm looking forward to getting back out there and finishing, you know, kind of what we planned and what we started, and getting back to it and getting to the grind. And yeah, I mean, I don't think you ever really get over them. You always think about, you know, even the one in Vancouver in 2014 and the one in 2013. I mean, you're always thinking about them and playing the what ifs, but it just makes you train harder in the off season, and it makes winning so much better when you're out there the next season.
Yeah, Sim, I mean, that fire in your belly, I know you've been to those games as well. I can't imagine there will be few people as excited to be back on the field, as excited to hit somebody else than you in 2021. How do you use that motivation going forward?
Body bag.
Zip them up.
Zip them up.
Gentlemen, as always, it is great to see you. I'd like to thank all of everybody who participated in our youth football meetup. Of course, thank you to our sponsor, First Ontario Credit Union. Again, thank you to you guys. Can't wait to see you back on the field. Thanks so much for doing this. Great to see you guys.
Thanks so much. I appreciate you guys. Thanks to all the fans for supporting us through all this.
Thank you to our fans. Thank you to our fans. We'll see you very soon. Thanks so much.